a lot of people die at prom. And unfortunately, every time she picks one and they're not the right one, they die. That's 100% true. I kid you not, I started to cry. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Motel and this is Motel Journals, where we talk about books and we talk about journals. And in today's video, I am going to give you a brief overlay of all of the books that I plan to read in the month of July. If you've been here before, then you know that I usually start my video with a setup video of what I do in my journal, and then afterwards I go over all of the books that I plan to read and put in that spread. I am always, constantly picking way too many books for the month, but I like to preface by saying these are just books I'm going to be choosing from to read in the month of July. It doesn't mean I'm gonna read every single book that I'm mentioning right now. Sometimes when I don't read certain books that I had my eye on for that month, then I might end up reading it the next month. So even though I might not get to all of the books I'm gonna talk about today, eventually I will get to them because they are on my radar. So without further ado, let us get started with my monthly setup of my reading journal. Okay, so now that you've seen my monthly setup for July, let's jump into the books. Getting started with the books that I plan to read for July, let's start off with the 23 books of 2023. Like I mentioned in my last video, I want to try to get to all of my 23 books of 2023, and I figured out that the best way for me to do that is to read at least 3 books every single month from this list. So the very first book that I plan to read in this month, part of my 23 books of 2023, is Culty by Mariana Zapata, and this is a 600-page romance that basically is a super slow burn, and Mariana Zapata, in my understanding, is the master of the slow burn. I've never read any of her books, so I'm super excited to get started with this one. Next book that I plan to read this month, that's part of the 23 books, is The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. And this will be my second Tiffany D. Jackson book. I read Grown before, I think last year, and I really enjoyed it. From my understanding, this is a retelling of Stephen King's Carrie. I haven't yet read it, but it still seems pretty interesting. It seems that a lot of people die at prom. The last book I plan to read from my 23 books is This Vicious Grace by Emily Thied, and in this book we follow Alyssa, and she is basically trying to figure out how to amplify her power that she has, and the only way to do that is by picking the right partner. And so she's been going through several different partners, and unfortunately every time she picks one and they're not the right one, they die. And that's kind of where we're at with this one. All right, so those were the 23 books for my 2023 list. The next book is just my regular TBR. The next book is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. And I know I don't have to say too much about this one because it's a very popular book. I'm actually reading this with a book club of my friends from college and my sister. And so this particular book, all I know is that our main character kills her husband and then doesn't say anything after that, like cannot even utter any kind of word or anything, doesn't speak to anyone. And I think she's in a mental hospital, not sure. And there's some sort of twist that happens, and that's all I know. All right, and the next book is one I'm super excited about, which is Twisted Hate by Anna Huang. And I am so excited for this one. I don't know who told me this, but someone told me either on TikTok or Instagram or even YouTube that the books just keep getting better and better, and that's 100% true. So in this one, we follow Jules, who's like the outgoing, unapologetically confident side character in both Twisted Hate and Twisted Games, and this is her book. So I obviously want to know what's going to happen in this one. I cannot wait. The next one is another favorite I'm looking forward to, and that is Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. Elizabeth Acevedo is one of my most favorite authors, and this is the last book I believe I have to read in order to read all of her books, with the exception of the next one, and I will get to that. But this one follows Xiomara, and Xiomara is from Harlem. She basically writes down all her thoughts in poems that she secretly locks away, and there's a poetry slam that's like about to happen, and she wants to perform in it and showcase her poetry, but is afraid of what her mother might think. It is written in like a poetry style. Okay, so the next set of books are all advanced readers copies, which I was very fortunate to receive, so I'm very thankful to all of the publishers and the authors that have sent these my way. The very first one is actually from Elizabeth Acevedo, which is why I wanted to finish reading her other books before I got into this one, and that is Family Lore by Elizabeth Acevedo. And so this book follows Flor, and Flor can actually predict when people are going to die. Yes, she can predict when exactly, like the exact moment when they will die. And so that becomes a very alarming kind of notion when she invites all of her family to her living wake. Yeah, those are the first two sentences in the back of this book, and after that I was like, okay, I don't have to read anything, and this book will be releasing August 1st. Okay, so this next book is one of my most anticipated reads of 2023, and that is The Sun and the Void by Gabriela Romero La Cruz. So let me tell you, I found out about this book on her TikTok, so maybe it was a little later in the year. Her TikTok, she was talking about how to pronounce the names and places, I believe, in this book. I kid you not, I started to cry. I was just, wow, I have not seen an epic fantasy, which is what this is, that's inspired by this type of culture. Excitement does not begin to define what I feel for this book. I am over the moon. So this is a high epic fantasy that is inspired by South American folklore. To be more specific, it's folklore from Venezuela. And as if that wasn't already enough to make you want to read this book, it's also sapphic, and the characters in this book have this intrinsic struggle between what is right and what is wrong when it comes to magic, and it's one of those things. I know there's going to be morally great characters. I know it's going to be a lot of world building. It's a thick book, so I'm so ready to just cozy up in my couch with my tabs and just get reading. I cannot. This book releases July 25th. The next book is Forget Me Not by Julie Soto, and I don't know too much about this one. I know I have seen it in several places, and it's a very good romance based on what I've heard, but it's basically following our main character, who is a party planner, and her love interest, who is the florist. And I think they were in love before, so this might be like a second chance romance. This book releases July 11th. The next book I plan to read is A Lady's Guide to Scandal, and this is a historical romance by Sophie Irwin. I did read A Lady's Guide to Fortune Hunting earlier this year. That actually no, I read that last month. Yeah. Yes, you will see that in my June wrap up. I'm a little bit more interested in this one than the fortune hunting one, because this one follows Eliza, and she got married, you know how it is back in the day where you had to get married with a man who had power and was rich, and so she got married with a super old guy, and he ended up passing away. Sad. But now she's able to use his money to do the things that she wanted to do, like start painting and start art and all these fun activities that she wanted to do. But the only problem is she has to avoid scandal or she loses the money. It looks like there's two gentlemen here, so I'm kind of curious as to if it's a love triangle or what it is. I'm not always a huge fan of love triangles in romance, but in a historical setting, I'm kind of curious to see how it pans out. This one releases July 11th. Okay, so the next book I'm also super excited about. This was sent to me by the author. I actually follow her on TikTok and I saw her revealing that she received her ARCs, and I am so beyond grateful to be one of the people that received her. That book is Her Own Happiness, and the author's name is Eden Appiah Kubi? Appiah Kubi?
Appiah.
Eden Appiah Kubi. We're excited for this one. In this book we follow Maya, and Maya is actually someone who lost everything, including her job and her career, and so she is in her 30s and she's trying to build everything back up again, and she's prioritizing her career, but she finds romance a little earlier than she expected, and so I'm interested to see where this goes. This one releases September 5th. All right, so this next one I'm also super excited about because I feel like this premise I haven't heard about ever, and maybe it exists somewhere, but I personally haven't heard about this premise, and I thought that it was very unique and very different. And this book was also sent to me by the author, so I am eternally grateful to be one of the people that they've chose to read their. And the book is called The Trials of Imogen Soul. Imogen?
PronounceNames.com.
Imogen.
The Trials of Imogen Soul. So in this book we follow Imogen, and she is an orphan, but her parents are actually known for killing a lot of people in the Federation. She's had to work twice as hard to get to where she is because of this purpose. A lot of people don't like her. She does have a few friends, but not that many. And so she is now in the top 10 of cadets in the school. And as she's preparing for her year 7 trials, she is actually framed for something that would not only get her expelled from the school, but will also get her imprisoned. Her biggest competition in the year 7 trials is offering to help her, and she kind of has to make a decision whether or not she trusts this person. I'm excited to get started because I really want to know where this is going to go. And this releases August 1st. Okay, so we reached the very end of this video. Thank you so much for sticking till the very end. In honor of one of my most anticipated reads of this year, which is The Sun and the Void, leave me a sun emoji so that I know that you stayed till the very end. I just like to thank you because it really means a lot to me if you stayed till the very end. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like so that way I know and I can continue to make videos like this. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel as well and click the notification button so you know when I upload a new video. And follow me on my other socials. I have Instagram and TikTok, and I also have Goodreads where I keep track of the books I'm reading in real time. And I guess that's all I had to say. So I'll see you on the next one. Bye.